Test, test. I'd like to call this May 13th, 2025 meeting of the Board of Trustees to order. Please let's observe a moment of silence. Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance at the rear. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Chick, can you please call roll?
Yes, Mr. Olney?
Here.
Mr. Moko?
Here.
Ms. Manley is absent with notice. Mr. Roman?
Here.
Mrs. Otto is absent with notice. Chick is present. Mr. Donner?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. I make a motion we approve the minutes from April 22nd, 2025. Budget workshop and dispense with reading.
Second.
Support by only. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Make a motion we approve the minutes from April 22nd, 2025 regular meeting and dispense with reading.
Support.
Supported by Donner. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Make a motion we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Oh, did you do the minutes
One more minutes.
Oh, I must have an older agenda.
from May 7th?
2 from the 22nd and 1 from the 7th.
Motion to approve minutes from May 7th.
Yep.
What, is that a special meeting?
That was our special meeting, yep.
Special meeting and dispense with reading.
I'll support.
Supported by Chick. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Make a motion we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Supported by Donner. Any questions, comments, concerns with those?
I have a comment.
Yes, Ms. Chick.
On the wastewater treatment and discharge monitoring report, we get from the wastewater treatment a list of things that they've done over the month. We also get the flow and rain averages, and then they attach the discharge monitoring report daily. I don't think this is necessary because the averages, the flow averages are here. If the board decides that they want this whole report and they understand what it's saying, then we can probably keep it, but I'm not sure that it's helpful to the board members.
I agree. If you'd like to communicate that to Mr. McDonald,
Okay,
that would work.
thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? So we have a motion to approve the consent agenda. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
There's from the community center, or I guess it's community center, Parks and Rec. Are we going to get or is there going to be a budget workshop for them to present their budget as well? From Mrs. Averill?
I hope so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, just wondering, there's nothing in there about, so, all right.
We could request that she come to the next meeting.
Yep.
Moving on, I make a motion to adopt the balance of the agenda.
I'll support.
Supported by only. Any questions, comments on that?
There was discussion about an additional item for an extension on 75 Barker. I believe that the owner of the building is here and has some information to provide us about the timeline that they're working with and kind of being out of their hands. So if we don't add an agenda item for that, it might be something that we want to discuss still in our meeting.
Where was the discussion?
There's not.
So there wasn't a formal request either, so I guess the point is, nothing was provided, nothing was requested, so,
I mean, we got a PUD in here that I don't have anything provided with that.
well, I can't compare item to item, but
So-
technically, there was no request, so
So
I'm not really in favor of adding on an agenda item without the information prior, and, you know, regardless of the time frame, we can still address it at the next meeting.
All right. I just had concerns of action being taken before that next meeting like it was done previously. If that date comes and expires, that no action will be taken without the board's approval. That's really what I'm looking for, so.
Thank you. So got a motion
To approve, yes. I seconded it, yes.
to approve the agenda as presented.
You made the motion, I seconded it.
Ms. Chick?
Yep. Mr. Jamil is here. I believe he wants to speak at the call to the public, and there can be clarifications from the board member at that time.
Yep, he can speak at the call to the public, so. Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Petitions and communications, anyone wishing to address the Board of Trustees may do so now. Mind you, there are 2 public hearings tonight, so if you have comments regarding those items, there'll be an opportunity to speak at the public hearings, but for any other items, anyone wishing to address the board tonight may do so for 3 minutes.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jason Sommer, about 75 Barker. We're here to give you guys a quick update about what's happening or what's not happening. It's been in limbo about this well issue. So we got it resolved. We got it reworked to replace existing pump. So now it went to OHM for approval, and then Washtenaw County for the row. It's been over like almost 5 weeks waiting on approval for them. But since we are doing replace only, OHM does not handle that anymore. It's got to go back to McKenna. I spoke with Julie today and let her know what's going on. So we just need some clarification, who is reviewing, who's going to approve. It's been, honestly, we're in limbo, and I'm very frustrated with this, that I don't get this. I really don't get this. So we need some help with this, where anytime anybody asks something, we're right on it, but it's losing 3 days, 3 weeks here, 1 month here. Oh, I forgot here. So we're here to ask an extension to this. When? I have no idea. We've supplied everything to Washtenaw County, Health Department, OHM, McKenna. So we're at their hands. But the attorney contacted you, wanted you to sign to meet the May 29th?
May 22nd.
May 22nd deadline? I mean, if we can get a permit before then, sure. I don't see how. And we're just waiting on it. So do we ask for a 30-day extension, 60-day, 90-day? Who knows?
Everything has been put in on our end. We're just waiting on the county, McKenna, OHM. I guess it's a matter of how fast they can turn everything around.
If that's your update?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's not a question and answer time, but we can comment
understood.
at board clarification after.
So if we want an extension, I mean, May 22nd is next week. Can somebody help us to understand what's going to happen? Because the attorney did contact them.
It sounds like definitely we will probably have it on our next board agenda, but other than that, I can give you some more info, but I'll do it at my proper time of board comments, right, which is right after your comments, so.
Okay.
If anyone else would like to speak, is that it? Thank you, though.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anyone else?
Good evening, Supervisor Ronan and Board of Trustees. I am Kirk Malcolmson. I am your new building official, and my goal is to facilitate and make a positive experience for all the construction, for the residents and the businesses of Northfield Township. Do you have any questions at all? Good. I'm downstairs. You can find me 5 days a week. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll go to board member comments. I'll start that one. In response to your request, tomorrow I'll be meeting with OHM and Mr. Malcolmson, and we'll review your case and go over some details, and we'll get back with you as soon as possible. Worst case scenario is that we see, it's not even a worst case, it's going to probably be on our next agenda for the next meeting, so to let you know. I don't have any answers at this time. Ms. Chick?
Did reach out to, or the building department did reach out to the Washington County Road Commission, and they did indicate that they would be getting something back to Mr. Jamel and, I'm sorry, forget your last, Jason's, to you within the week regarding the road permit. So I don't know what that is, if it's a review or if it's a road permit, but they'll be getting something back to you before then. So at least you've got that going. What else were you waiting for?
We already have the health department permit for the well.
Okay,
I mean, that's it.
so it's just a road.
It's just approvals for it.
Okay.
Anyone else? Mr. Only, I'm sorry, hold on.
So I just want to make sure that our next meeting takes place after this May 22nd deadline. I just want to make sure that no action is going to be taken by our legal team prior to our next meeting. Previously, the business owner received a letter of demo without our instructions as a board. I guess I just want to make sure that we don't get into that mess again. So if that means we need to give an extension tonight to get past that date of the 22nd or to get to our next meeting, then I think we should do so to avoid that. But if you're confident that no action is going to take place by our legal team prior to our next meeting, then I guess that date doesn't mean anything.
I think Ms. Fink is aware of that at this time.
Yeah.
Ms. King, did you have a comment?
Yes, gentlemen, I'm Dawn King, I'm the code enforcement officer, and I thank you for so expeditiously getting the repairs done that we needed. So from a code enforcement standpoint, we have nothing open at this time. Thank you.
Ms. Chick?
So, they might get a letter from Finks about the deadline, but they can't, the board has to act on it for it to happen, so it might work that it's on the 27th meeting.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll go to, there's correspondence included in the packet. Public hearings, we have 2 of them tonight. Number 1 is consideration of conditional use permit at the request of Absolute Self-Storage at 6684 Whitmore Lake Road, parcel B 0220300018. The site is zoned as limited industrial within the Whitmore Lake North Territorial Overlay District. Is anyone here from Absolute Self-Storage, the applicant? Seeing none, I would like to go to, I see Mr. Downey from OHM. Do you have anything regarding that? No?
Open this public hearing?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Support.
Supported by Donner. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So we'll start again, I guess, sorry. Mr. Downey, you don't have any comments? Thank you. So in there was a, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, there was a, excuse me. We'll go to the public. Anyone wishing to comment regarding the conditional use permit in the public? Seeing none, I make a motion to close the public hearing. Support by Chick. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. So in the packet, there was all the reports from McKenna. There was the minutes of the Planning Commission and the recommendation was by the planning consultant to approve with conditions of the report. So is there any commissioners have any comments regarding this request? So I make a motion to approve with conditions listed in the McKenna report dated April 9th, 2025, the conditional use request from Absolute Storage, 6684 Whitmore Lake Road, parcel B 0220300018.
Support.
Supported by Donner. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Mr. Only?
So in that packet it read, and from being on the ZBA knowing this applicant has still to get through site plan approval. Came to the zoning board of appeals twice. The first time it was tabled. The second time the variance request was denied. They still have the opportunity to go to the planning commission for some relief forget the terminology for it. The planning commission cannot give a variance, but what is it? A modification. So even with this conditional use approval, they still have to get site plan approval with a modification from the planning commission.
Correct. The site plan's still pending with the planning commission, which is their purview. Yep.
That's it for me.
Okay, thank you. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next public hearing is number 2, consideration of a preliminary planned unit development, a PUD, at the request of Robertson Brothers Homes on behalf of Barbone Anthony and M. Neiman Trust, owners of vacant West North Territorial and Whitmore Lake Road parcels, Whitmore Lake. The applicant proposes to develop a two-phased mixed-use planned use development under the provisions of Article 23. The 3 properties are located south of West North Territorial and access to the west side of Whitmore Lake Road. Parcel numbers are B0219400001, B0220300008, and B-0220300009, and are currently zoned AR Agricultural District. With that, I make a motion to open a public hearing. Supported by Mr. Moko. Any questions, comments? All about opening public hearing?
Yep.
Okay.
So I brought to some of the board members' attention, the packet that we have does not have anything provided by Robertson Brothers. We have a memo, we have minutes from meetings from Planning Commission, we have our McKenna report, and an OHM report. I think that it's pretty normal for us to be provided with everything that the Planning Commission was provided with, and I'm aware that I can go seek all this information out, but there was nothing in here, whether that's on our staff or if that's on Robertson. It's kind of hard for a public hearing to take place when I don't know what we're dealing with. And
So-
neither does the public. So if the public accesses this packet and they want to come speak on behalf of what's being proposed, how would they do that?
So the question is, so there's a motion to open a public hearing. Mr. Only's concern is that some mapping and so forth is missing from the packet.
I think it's more than just some. It's every bit of the plans for this project.
Okay, I feel we could still carry the public hearing at this time and address those items upon discussion of the approval with conditions or denial.
So I
And
think,
item A, that's my opinion, but
I think the public hearing is an opportunity for the public to speak on it, and the public doesn't have anything to speak on.
understood, we heard your point. So it's a board, it's a motion, so it's up to the board at this point. We'll vote if we want to have a public hearing or not. I understand your concerns. Any other questions about the motion? Okay, this is the motion to have the public hearing tonight.
I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
I'm sorry?
I'll ask for a roll call vote to open the public hearing.
Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Chick?
Mr. Olney,
No.
Mr. Moko,
Yes.
Mr. Roman,
Yes.
Ms. Chick is yes. Mr. Donner,
Yes.
So motion passes 4-1 to have the public hearing. Okay. So at this time, we can go to the applicant, right? So who would like to come speak?
We have a presentation which I think should answer a lot of the questions you have. I'm Tim Lockman with Robertson Brothers Homes, 6905 Telegraph Road.
But to have questions provided, or for the public to be prepared for this meeting, there's,
Mr. Only,
Nothing in the packet.
Mr. Only, we voted to have the public hearing, so we're moving forward.
I can give you my packet if you guys want to review. This is what we submitted to, and we've got full reviews. and
We're going to
sent to the
continue.
Planning
You can
Commission.
go ahead with your presentation, with your comments. We're,
you can't.
you can bring up your comments at the public, when you make comment for the public hearing.
It is on the Planning Commission agenda from last meeting, everything I have here. But if I could, Jack, if you could get that.
Okay, you want to go to the, okay, hold, let me.
Yeah, I think it'd be helpful to show what we've been doing the last couple of years, so. I thank you for your time tonight. So let's get a chance to boot her up here,
Just a
please.
second.
Sure.
There we go.
Okay. All right, so, yes, this is Northfield Preserve. This is at the southwest corner of Territorial Way and Whitmore Lake Road. It's about 160 acres or so under contract with the owner. So the site, as you can see here, just from a context, you've got a lot of other developments going on and future developments. It is in a mixed-use area. It's in an area that the township has identified within the master plan for growth. It is within the sewer district, which I'll get to in a second. You've got medium density to the north, as well as the apartments. Everybody's familiar with the Chestnut Apartments to the north. We will not be at that density. Industrial to our southeast, and then a lot of mixed use really at the corner. So this is really viewed as kind of a destination intersection, if you will, as part of your master plan. So we go to the next site here.
If I could just, the YouTube is streaming the speaker only and not the proposal, and usually that would be fine, but since it wasn't part of the packet, this is the only opportunity for the public to see it if they are on the live stream. So I don't know how that can be adjusted.
If you could pause a minute.
Oh, of course.
I see it's on the screen here in the room, but on the live feed, the public.
That's just, should I do this one? Bid source. Excuse me. Hold on. Okay, now go back here. We're still. Yeah, in this stream layout. It's on video source. Getting anything? Yeah, Chief, going to video source, it's showing blacked out pretty much, right? I don't either. When, question, Mr. Only, were you seeing the presentation from Ms. Kujay at the prior? Okay. In the budget workshop you were? Okay, just bear with me, sir, sorry.
No problem.
So how I had that one was this way. Is that frozen or is it current? Is that puck on your device? Is it? It's red? Possibly, I'm not certain. What's that? When I had it set for Carleen, I had that on, and then just went there and switched it, and it was showing. When you put it to that video source, it blacks out. That's the end of the table hookup.
I wrote it down last time, too. Oh, there you go.
It may be his. There's the delay, right? That's how I had it set when she was doing that. So,
Sorry about that. No. Appreciate you guys checking that. Thank you.
so
Now we all know, right? Thank you.
okay. So if I go to, I should stay here, right? And then when he's, okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Might as well start over.
It's good we figured it out. So again, Tim Locker with Robertson Homes. Yes, we've been working on the site for quite some time. Southwest corner of Whitmore Lake Road, North Territorial Way. And I'll get to the first slide here, just so everybody that could not see, just from a site context perspective, this really is where there's growth concentrated in the township. Otherwise, it's really, obviously, everybody knows, more of an open space concept. But at this area, you've got a lot of mixed use and multifamily. So if you can follow me here, you got the high school to the north, and then medium residential south of that, and then the Chestnut Apartments, which I think are right around 4 or 5 units per acre. We will not be that high in density whatsoever, and those are rentals we're proposing for sale. Our site is south of that, at the southwest corner, and then there's industrial to our southeast and mixed use basically surrounding everything to the east. So getting into the site plan, which I think is where we left off. I think one of the things that really jumps out and something that has been very important to us, which is why we're calling it Northfield Preserve, we are preserving almost 70% of the site as open space. Now, the reasons for that is a couple things. Probably most important is that it keeps us away from any other residential to our west or to our south. In fact, we've got setbacks of 380 feet to the Hellner Road right-of-way, which is going to be all left as a treed area. So that's almost 400 feet of a treed swath along our western boundary. You do see how it kind of, it's already cleared a little bit on the southwest corner. Part of our plan there is just to provide for 2-acre residential lots. We just felt that that was something that would fit more in that location along Hellner. By no means is that, critical part of the development, but it's something that we thought would make sense to have some custom home lots there. And then the setback to the south property line, which is a farm, is 1,200 feet in that center portion. Then again, almost 400 feet, 350 feet to the eastern portion. So the whole point of this is it allows us to provide as much buffer as we possibly can to our neighbors and leave as much of the trees standing as possible. There's trees, there's wetlands, but we could develop that area. We're not proposing to develop that area whatsoever. So we're trying to work within what we have there. So that's the setbacks. Again, the open space is about 70%. It's more passive than anything. We're not looking to put in, playgrounds and that sort of thing. There are some areas that will have some kind of interesting open space areas with amenities, but for the most part, we're looking really more for passive open space, leaving those trees in place, having some pathways through it, really low kind of impact type of amenities using that natural open space. Some of the components of the plan, so that area, kind of the north center, I guess, you can consider that would be the single family lots. And then on the east side, those would be detached condominiums. They're ranch-style homes. We really believe that your community is looking, as it matures, looking for this type of product where people want to stay in their community. They want to be by their friends. They want to be by their churches. They want to be by everything they love in your community and be able to basically downsize as the kids move out. So it's all the same floor plan, which sounds crazy, but this is the floor plan they want. It's 2 bedrooms with a den. First floor master is a ranch, obviously first floor master with, they usually finish out the basement as well. So about 1,850 square feet, and usually, they finish out the basement to add some more land or some more space. That is something that is very popular for us in other communities. A lot of communities are looking for this type of product for their residents, and we think that this is just ripe for Northfield Township. So that would be in the eastern corner, and again, surrounded by existing trees. There is a component north of that. It's really hard to see on that. I apologize. I can't see it, but I don't have the best eyes. That's a townhome area, and we had not proposed a townhome portion of this until we met with the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission had directed us to meet with McKenna to better meet the master plan. The master plan in this area, and I'll show you in the next slide, is it calls out mixed use. Mixed use being anything from commercial to multifamily residential at 14 units per acre. In this case, when we met with the Planning Commission, they directed us to talk to John Jackson. Really, it was trying to keep that concept of a mixed-use theme. And the mixed-use theme is, a lot of people think of mixed use as a 40-story building with commercial on the first floor like New York. That's not what this mixed use would be proposing. It would be a mix of uses in kind of a walkable area. So that's what the purpose of those townhomes are. There's 32 of them. We did not have that in our previous plan. That's something that was added after our meeting with the Planning Commission and John Jackson. The area in pink is a little less defined. It is a commercial area of about 10 acres. The seller is planning on retaining that 10 acres, 8 to 10 acres, I believe it is. They're planning on retaining that area. And really, as a legacy, they want to keep a portion of it in their family, if you will. And then the commercial component is part of the mixed-use plan, and I'll show you an example of what we're thinking of. But it's not ready for development until the rooftops come. So it would be down the road. They would come in, and they'll come in with us. You guys will have them come in with a site plan, and have a specific plan in place that you would approve. In the PUD, what we're proposing to do is limit the types of uses in that area and the type of development standards and the type of aesthetics. And that way, when they do come in the future, which could be 10 years, could be 20 years, I don't know, they would have a defined aesthetic, and obviously we could say no car washes or whatever you don't want there. We're 100% willing to do that with the PUD agreement. So by nature, it's a little bit it's not fleshed out very much because it can't be now. It can't be until those homes are built and we know what the commercial would be. We would just be making stuff up, which I'm going to show you. We did make stuff up just for a reference. Before I get off this a little bit again, I just wanted to point out the master plan, really what we're proposing to do, and I'll show you what that looks like in a parallel plan. We're not proposing to do that. We're really proposing to limit the density, but create different types of uses on the property. So that's kind of the underlying theme of Northfield Preserve. This is the master plan, so that's what I alluded to. You've got a lot of density to the north, to the northeast, to the, the east and the southeast. That corner, it's about 20 acres of purple on our site, it's actually about 21, 22 acres, is mixed use. And by definition in your ordinance, you could do, again, many different uses. One of those is multifamily. And multifamily with 2 bedrooms is 14 units per acre. So in that 20 acres, you can see how many units somebody could come in. We're not proposing that. And there are some wetlands, so there's only so much you can actually build on that, so fully recognizing that. But really, that's the component that at McKenna, when we met with them, wanted to retain as a mixed-use kind of portion. And that's where you're going to see where the commercial and the townhomes are. And everything else is low-density residential. And again, we're not proposing to use, the majority of what that yellow area is. We're proposing to save as much as we possibly can. So let me get to the parallel plan, which is next. So the parallel plan, and I don't show you this to scare you, but it is something that is a requirement for PUDs to show what can be built. And this really establishes what the density could be. And there's a couple ways to really calculate the density. You could do it straight up, 20 acres times 14 units per acre. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to show what you could actually build on. So if you look at the northeast corner of it, those are townhomes. Those are work, live, play townhomes where you have, commercial on the first floor and then residential on the top couple of floors. That is by nature true mixed use. That is something that would be approvable in your master plan today. And that is, I think, 183 units of townhomes, which is a lot. I don't think it necessarily fits in right there. We're not proposing it. But that is something that could be built with under your current master plan. And I hear a lot, build the master plan, build the master plan. That's what you could possibly get. And it has a little bit of a commercial component as well for that mixed use. That's in that box, right? So everything outside of that box is low density residential, which is 5-acre lots. I'm sorry, 2-acre lots. So the 2-acre lots would net, I think, 41 lots is what it shows there. And that would basically be developing the entire site. Now, there would be trees that would be remaining. Obviously, wetlands would be remaining. We're not planning homes over the wetlands, as you can see. This would be a realistic plan that could be built, but it's 41, and they would basically be able to build all the way to Hellner. Again, we've got almost 400 feet to Hellner, so we're saving a lot more than what the parallel plan could show. So I just wanted to kind of reference that. Total of 224 units could potentially be built. And again, if you do it by straight up numbers, it would be more than that. The next page, and I'm sorry, I'm going to make everybody's brain hurt because it really hurt my brain at first. North is actually down, so I apologize for that. Our planner, that's just kind of how we did it. But if you can envision this is looking like if you're a bird's eye view looking straight south at the intersection. And you can see the townhomes there kind of centered around a village green concept, and then a daycare and a market. I'm not proposing those uses per se. I think those are 2 good uses that could go there, and we're more than obviously happy to put that in there. The seller would love to do something like that. So a specialty market and a daycare with some parking. Keep it small, keep it kind of off the main road, if you will. That's something that John really asked us to do. Don't have this separated. Have it all part of one mixed-use area. So you can see all the traffic would come from the residential areas from Whitmore Lake and then the other side from North Territorial. So that's sort of the point. Drive all the traffic. And we didn't really want to do that necessarily at first, but again, this kind of adds to that village concept. And that's where you get that mix of uses. And we can certainly flesh out what the village green looks like and have some more detail on the commercial if you're looking for that. But again, I think having flexibility for them with the commercial would be helpful. So sorry to hurt your brain on that. It does show where those wetlands are, so there's certainly buildable area at the corner for commercial. The next slide, just a summary. Probably should have started with this, but again, it's almost 160 acres, 155 acres. It is 3 parcels. There are a couple parcels on Whitmore Lake, small little parcels on Whitmore Lake Road, providing access, and then the most of it is to the west. Zoned ag, again, the master plan calls it out as mixed use and low-density residential. Total of 194 homes, which would be 73 single-family, the 4 custom lots that I mentioned on Helmer, 85 detached condos, those are the ranch-style homes, and then 32 of the townhomes. We are proposing a PUD. We'll obviously come back, if we are fortunate enough to move forward tonight, we'll come back with a PUD that has a lot more detail as far as uses, as far as aesthetics, really what you'd be looking for in that respect when we get to that stage. We're still in the preliminary stages, you know. As far as utilities, the Board of Trustees, you have approved this as part of the sewer district. Our waters will be provided from Chestnut. We have an agreement that just needs some T's crossed and I's dotted. It's got a lot of legalese, as you can imagine. But he's got plenty of capacity. Steve Grono has got plenty of capacity for us, as well as the projects to the north. And Eagle has already bought off on that. So we have a letter from Eagle that there is enough capacity. And again, we're working with Mr. Grono finalizing that agreement. If we don't, those 4 lots on the southwest corner could easily be where a community well could be placed. We'd have to go through those studies, obviously, but there would be no reason why we couldn't, find a place to put in a well if we needed to. But like I said, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be getting water from Chestnut. I've kind of talked about the plans a little bit, but just a little bit more detail. The single-family homes, they are 2-story homes from 1,900 square feet to about 3,000 square feet. Detached condominiums are all the same plan. They're 1,850 square feet. We are proposing a Cape Cod, which is basically where there are a couple bedrooms upstairs. It's not a 2-story. It doesn't look like a 2-story. It literally looks like the same plan, but there's a couple bedrooms in the trusses, in the attics, in the attic space for usually people want to have that for when their kids come home from college, that sort of thing. So it doesn't make it look like a 2-story. We would propose that. That would add up to about 2,100 square feet for those homes. And again, the proposed open space, it's almost 70%, which is unheard of. I can't remember a project we've done that has had this much open space, particularly high-quality open space that's treed and wetlands and woodlands. So next one, I'm almost finished. Sorry, I know I'm talking a lot. Just a couple highlights to throw that out there. These are owner-occupied, so I don't want anybody to confuse us with the Chestnut development to the north. Those are all rentals. These would be high-quality, owner-occupied, all of them, including the townhomes. That's very important to us. We do have limitations on them being able to be rented in the master deed. We create that. We limit it specifically because we don't want rentals either. It doesn't really happen, especially in the detached condos. So we'll put in a provision that only a certain small percentage can be rentals, just to keep that in check. 194 new taxpayers will bring a lot of taxable value. We're proposing some pond overlooks. I kind of mentioned some of this, those trailways that are really important, but they're very low impact to we're not proposing paved walkways in these wetland areas. We really want it to be as natural as possible. I've talked about the master plan extensively. We do think this is a village concept, especially now with the townhomes even more so. It really adds a lot of different options for people that want to move into your community, and we think that that's really important. It's located within sewer district, and this is important. I'm going to show you a slide on the next one here, but it's going to add kids to Whitmore Lake schools. Now, the detached condos won't. We don't age restrict. We might get one family in there that moves into the detached condo portion. It's meant for age targets, it's meant for people that are downsizing. But the single family, for sure, and the townhomes will certainly create more students for the schools, and they need them. We all, I think, can admit that. I've already talked about the minimal impact on the environment, talked about the separation, and the park amenities. So, and shameless self-promotion, we've been around a long time. We're celebrating our 80th year this year. I've not been with the company all 80 years, but we do the right thing. We wouldn't be in business 80 years if we didn't do what we say we're going to do. So I think that's an important fact. Next slide here is the school district. A lot of school districts are losing population in Michigan. Whitmore Lake schools definitely are. You can see this here. So this is a slide that we buy school properties from school districts as they're contracting. This will add new students to your school system, which is extremely important. I lied, they said that they'd be almost over, just a few more things. Covered a lot of these things, but I think it's really important when you're talking about a PUD that it's something that is, has a substantial recognizable benefit overall. And I think having all that open space and the setbacks, as opposed to what we could do on the property, I think is something that should really be embraced. And the mixed-use component is something that we worked hard with McKenna to make sure that we're meeting your master plan. So public services we talked about. The other thing, I think this is important, there is a homeowners association, so we'll have one master homeowners association. They will be responsible for all of the general area, if you will, like the main roads. And then we'll have the individual associations that will maintain the townhomes, the detached condos, and the single family. The point of all of this is, trust me, they will make sure their community looks nice. You don't have to worry about that. The landscaping, snow removal, everything will be on them. We're proposing private roads that would then be maintained by the homeowner association, so that would be less of an impact on you guys, and it'll be a beautiful community. That's the point of the HOA. So just a couple slides on the product design, just so you're familiar with it a little bit. And these are plans that we are building similar in other locations. The Sherwood, that is it's a two-car townhome. I didn't mention that. Each unit has its own 2 cars. What's interesting is nobody's living on top of each other. They live side by side. So you get a 2-car attached. We enter from the rear of the unit. There's a flex room on the first floor. We used to call that the Zoom room, but that's not funny anymore. The second floor is where you have the living room and the dining area. Everything is really open. You'd think with a townhome, you could just feel really tight. They're very open. A lot of light that comes through because of that openness. There's no walls really. And then the third floor would be 3 bedrooms. They could do 2-bedroom and a den if they want. But that's the townhomes. The Raleigh plan. This is the detached residential, detached ranch condominium. And again, this is the plan people want. It's a very nice. I know it's really hard to see, but it's a really nice master bedroom. With an ensuite, very open kitchen, dining, living room, nice open den with a bay window there, and then another bedroom up there. So again, a lot of people finish out their basement in these as well. But I would encourage you, if you get a chance, to drive through some of our other communities like that. And then the single family, you know what single family is. This is really just to serve the young families. As their kids grow up and go to the school district. So last slide, just I could kind of stay on there. That's the site plan. Sorry for talking so long, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you. With us, I see Mr. Downey from OHM. I'd like to have him come up and address any issues from the engineering consultant.
Hey guys. From the engineering side, this is all very preliminary and we don't see any issues with it as it is. I do want to address in our letter, comment number 2, just for some clarity on that, because that shouldn't have been in there. We were well aware that they're connecting to the Chestnut system for water and that the well is shown was only for if the southwest corner was developed into those additional 4 lots. But yeah, besides that, there's a couple of things on here that are just kind of more like final PUD requirements, if they were to, keep progressing through the process. But the majority of these comments are all, very preliminary, very easy to address, we feel. And yeah, no showstoppers at this point in the game. So, and then as Tim mentioned too, the sanitary sewer, I don't want to call it an issue, but a discussion recently is in the process of getting worked out. Tetra Tech's been very involved with the township. And, we've been in agreement with Tetra Tech said so far. So we're just staying in the loop on that and, moving forward as is.
Thank you. With that, we'll go to the public. Anyone wishing to comment on the public hearing for the development may do so now for a period of 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Adrian Madland. I live at 6509 Hellner Road, which is just a kitty corner southwest to this development. I appreciate the effort that Robertson's put in to kind of take some of the feedback from people. You know, I realize obviously there's going to be something happening here, and I appreciate kind of the work that they've put into this. I would just kind of make sure that as a lot of the things I've been hearing about it have been conditioned on the mixed-use things that are going to be happening at the top end, but I believe with that not being sold, that's not actually a part of what we're talking about today. We're solely talking about the residential stuff in green, and all the nice fluffy things about childcare and coffee shops is fluff, because that's being kept by the owners, and that's not any part of what we're talking about today. We're talking about places for people to live. So I just wanted to make sure we're kind of focusing on that, and it seems like this is, you know, so thanks for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? Seeing none, I make a motion to close the public hearing. Supported by Donner. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Going on to the next item, which is the approve with condition or deny the request for the preliminary planned unit development at the request of Robertson Brothers Homes on behalf of Anthony Barbone Trust and M. Neiman Trust for those parcels listed earlier. Comments, please.
I have a question. Was McKenna not available this evening?
They were requested to be here, so I hadn't heard, so yeah.
I just know a lot of these questions would be handled by McKenna. So again, it's difficult to make decisions when we don't have our professionals here to assist us. So then I got a bunch of stuff. So even though McKenna's not here, maybe the applicant could.
Well, possibly before we do that and get into a lot of the details, Mr. Lofgren, it's my take on it is that I'm glad that we were able to have the public hearing tonight, but there are missing documents such as maps and so forth in the packet. It may be the administrative end part of that. We also, for this occasion, we're planning that McKenna, Mr. Jackson would be here to answer any questions in detail that any of the Board of Trustees may have. So I'd like to, my thought is that we table the action until the next board meeting. So I'd like to make that motion that we table the approve with conditions or denial until the next regular board meeting.
I would support that.
There's support by Mr. Only. Any questions, comments on that? Well, if we go into questions regarding details, it's a moot point because we're going to revisit it. That's my opinion. But Mr. Moko?
I got a question for Tim, and we don't need a planner for this question. What's the price points on each of those three?
That's a good question. So obviously, won't know until we open, and who knows what the market will be like at that point. But I envision the townhomes to be starting around 300,000. I expect the single family to start probably in the low 500s, high 400s, probably, but low 500s, which sounds like a lot of money. There's no way to build them really cheaper than that. And then the detached ranch condominiums will definitely be in the mid 500s starting. And we have a design gallery where people will come in and they'll choose to upgrade and spend considerably more, to be honest.
Thank you. That's the questions that someone will ask, and I just
Sure.
have an answer.
Yep. Any other comments on the motion? Ms. Chick?
I just wanted to comment that I really appreciate the work you did on the presentation. I've seen it a couple of times, so it was really interesting. And I really, really, really appreciate the fact that your proposal preserves preserves 70% of the site for natural features. That rarely happens, so I appreciate that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Anyone else? All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. That I heard. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, old business, number one, presentation and discussion of targeted neighborhood code enforcement at Horseshoe Lake. Ms. King.
Thank you. I was requested to come and speak to this a little bit and answer some questions. As you might recall, we did this last summer in the summer homes in the Prairie neighborhood and had about, I would say, a 90% success rate in getting compliance with people cleaning up their homes. So having said that, most of my overall code enforcement time and court time is spent on the Horseshoe Lake area. The HOA has come to me and asked me for help because they only have so much power. They've put liens on homes and nothing, just not willing to change, quite honestly. And that area continues to look worse. So we have two problematic areas, two homes when you get off of 23 at 6 Mile that I've been dealing with them for the last 4 years.
Is your microphone on?
Yes.
Thank you. Just making sure.
Okay, thank you. And then, obviously, within that area, there are many more problem homes. And for me to tackle them all individually, it would just be too time prohibitive for me to do that. So I was cleaning out my voicemails yesterday, and I ran across a thank you that came in from when we did the summer homes. So I know that there were some people that were opposed to this, so I wanted to play this for you so you have an idea of what the public felt about our efforts at the summer home. So I'll go ahead and play this. Maybe.
Hey, I just wanted to give you a call and thank you. A lot of things are going on here. You sent the letter out, I guess, 2-3 weeks ago or whatever, and right next to me, there are some renters now, and things are getting cleaned up, looking 100% better. And it just seems like everybody on the street has kind of picked it up a little bit, some more than others. But anyway, I just want to thank you because you really kind of got on the job and you did it. And I'm one person that really did appreciate it. So I just wanted to put a shout out to you. You don't have to call me back. Just know that you're appreciated. Thank you. All right. 49 Butternut Road.
So I got that, thank you. And I also got several thank yous in writing for the efforts that the township put into that. I did not know about target code enforcement. Mark Lloyd brought it up, and we thought we'd give it a try. It is a fairly common practice, I've learned. It does focus on problem areas. The good thing about it, when the letters go out, they go out to a geographic area. And so the residents are told what's expected. They're given time to comply, and then if they don't comply, there may be a ticket issued. Obviously, it's proactive for them. It improves our community standards, safety, and aesthetics, obviously property values. And then we have a collaborative approach, and I put this in my letter when I asked people to clean up, that if they have physical limitations or if they have financial limitations, to let me know, and we'll try to work with them. So we went to some local churches and got some things done for people that weren't able to do it. Obviously, people like to see this progress, and it was almost like a positive peer pressure where people came together and worked to get things done. So that area looked much better. I have a few that have kind of slipped back this summer, but I'm sending them letters, and it streamlines it because they were all warned last year. So that's the benefit of doing the mass mailings. Obviously, we have legal concerns, which I'm aware of. I worked with Mariah on this. We want to be fair, not show any bias. They have due process, and our attorney that handles most of these is Conrad Siller. So I usually give people time to make these improvements. We get to court, he talks with them, and then he says, okay, I'm gonna adjourn this for next month, and so they've got another month to make the improvements. And 9 times out of 10, when we come back to court, they've done that. Obviously, privacy, we don't want to put anybody's information out there to the public. Liability is if, you know, if I did something that was improper, which that, I'm very careful about that. And then limitations of our authority, that we don't step outside the ordinance or state law. So I don't know if there's any questions above and beyond the handout that I gave, but I am asking support to do that at Horseshoe Lake, because I think we could make some gains. That would also include the area down 6 Mile.
Thank you. Any questions, Ms. Chick?
I do. I know the one case you're talking about, you say you've been working on for 4 years. At one point, can the township step in and actually clean it up and then back charge the owner?
That is with Mariah Fink right now. We do have a court order stating that the township can do abatement there.
Did they put a lien on the property, or how did they handle it, or they actually?
The HOA has, but the court has ordered, or actually declared that the township can come in and do abatement. The problem is the gentleman that lives there does scrapping. So the things don't stay there permanently, they move. So we're kind of waiting on our legal staff to decide how they want to deal with that.
I'd prefer we don't talk about individual cases at
No,
the
I'm just
meeting,
saying in general, can the township step in and do that?
We can, and there is a provision in the ordinance for a public health officer. And one of the things that I deal with a lot is trash that's on property. And I mean trash. We're talking about food items, old clothing items. So if we were to appoint a public health officer, we could have a hearing with that officer, and then the township could actually go in and clean it up. So that's something we might want to look at.
Okay, if we're going to do a targeted program, will we still be taking complaints from people outside this area and acting on those as well?
Sure, I'll handle the
Okay.
whole township complaints.
Anyone else? Mr. Moko?
The difference in summer home sub is night and day. I mean, it's really what a difference you've done. And friends of mine that live there, they've all had nothing but good things to say. I mean, I think it raises property values. It looks safer, looks cleaner. So, good job.
Thank you.
Mr. Only.
Yeah, when this first came to us, I just reached out and asked for it to be presented. I just wanted to be upfront with it. I didn't want the public, I wanted the public to be aware that this was taking place. And I really support this. I think it takes the burden off the neighbors. Some people are fearful of their neighbors, and they don't want to disrupt the neighborhood. So this needs to be done. I'm glad that we got some direction from from Fink and Fink on how to handle this. I know I'm on my HOA board, and I direct our residents to file complaints with the township. If HOAs don't really have a whole lot of authority, so when someone files a complaint with us, I tell them to go to the township as long as the township has an ordinance that also addresses that. So this just kind of takes the burden off the residents, and I appreciate it.
I think the point that you made too about people being fearful, I've heard that twice this week, that they're afraid to complain about neighbors. So thank you.
Anyone else? So, yeah, I've been in support of this type of enforcement. And so there's been, in the near past, there's been some different opinions of ordinance enforcement and so forth. So I think we clarified that through the township attorney in her letter. When you do just complaint-based ordinances, the township is liable for selective enforcement, so that's not a good thing for the township. And really targeting areas and targeting different types of things that need work in a particular area or so forth is usually how it's done. And I know that in most other communities, the ordinance enforcement falls under the building official, not all, but most. That's a good idea because a lot of times on ordinance enforcement, I know Ms. King has been dealing with some building type issues And now that we have a full-time building official who's also doing inspections, I think it would benefit us to go that way too, because they can coordinate and get the goals accomplished in a quicker way if that's, and whichever way it takes to get done. But I felt that in reviewing with Ms. King on some of her past, cases, that I think there's a need that a lot of times a building official or an inspector also in conjunction with her would help. Do you agree to that, Ms. King?
Yeah, in some cases,
Yes.
that would be helpful.
Yeah, so,
And some of this stuff does cross over into the police realm too, so the police department's been helpful in dealing with some of those, like barking dogs and things like that.
so is there any other questions for Ms. King? Yes, Ms. Chick.
So, Summer Homes was about 120 homes, is that correct? Do you recall?
If we put in Prey, I think I sent out 230 letters.
Oh, okay. So, and Horseshoe Lake is a much bigger
It's
area.
much bigger, so
And I
I'm-
saw that you were intending to break it up in two portions?
Yes.
2 phases?
Yes.
Okay.
So with that, I have a motion, unless there's more comments, but with that, I have a motion to have the code enforcement be under the building official in the Northfield Township organizational chart and utilize methods of code enforcement as the building official determines to achieve the goals of the ordinances of Northfield Township. Is there support with that?
I'll support.
Supported by Donner. Any questions, comments on that?
Our building officials here.
Sure. Would you like to hear from
Yeah,
them?
just if you're, like, you've worked in this capacity before with code enforcement and with zoning and.
Mr. Malcolmson,
Yeah, if
please
you wanna come up to the
step
mic,
up to the
just to-
microphone.
Ask away, please.
So in your previous jobs, have you worked with code enforcement?
Yes, I have over 20 years of zoning enforcement
Yeah,
and
zoning, yes.
blight
Yep.
and hazardous structures and demolition and everything. So yes, I do.
All right.
I'm also a licensed builder.
I am in full support of it. I just wanted to hear from the source himself.
Any other questions from anybody? Looking forward to help cleaning up the township.
Thank you.
And everybody will be happy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions then? No? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Was there a motion to go ahead and adopt the target, or do we have to?
I think we're in favor of whatever method is the best, and
I mean,
I
if we
didn't
want to
hear
make
any-
a motion just so it's on
Yeah,
file
I
with the
would.
public, go ahead,
would you like to? Go
the
ahead.
code
Yep.
enforcement.
I would like to make a motion for the township to adopt a target code enforcement action for our ordinance officer and our building department, our building official.
Do you want it to be specifically to this Horseshoe Lake area?
No, because we're going to do other areas, I would assume.
Well, okay. Is there support for that motion?
Support.
There's support by only. The concern is that I would like to leave it to whichever way the building official and Ms. King decide to.
I think it's a board decision. My thought.
I understand your point, but I'm just saying there may be more than just, than what we're talking about here around one specific area of the township. So if we go with that motion, then we're putting ourselves, you're not really giving anyone the option to do things in a different manner or different enforcement means. But to me, I'm not really want to do that. I really don't want to do that. That's why in my motion, I kind of left it to the best way possible to achieve the goals of the ordinances.
I think we did it for the summer homes thing, but,
So,
Do you want to make your motion specific to that?
no,
That's what
that's
Mr.
okay. All
Only
right,
asked.
I'll go with you guys, that's fine.
Well, no, but there's a motion with support, so Mr. Only, you have comment?
yeah, so from Think and Fink, just saying that in general, we are complaint-based, but that's not in our ordinance. There's nothing saying that they have to do complaint-based or that they can or can't do targeted areas. I think previously, people, when summer homes took place, the letters went out before the board was even aware of it. People received letters in their mailboxes, and then it was presented to the board by our previous supervisor and/or manager. So I support that the board is aware of this happening before it happens, so that the board members aren't hearing from the public about a letter that was sent to them on behalf of the township and we're not aware of it. So that's why I support this. That's why I was looking for it to be specific to Horseshoe Lake for this one instance. And then if there's another targeted area in the township, just to come back with just the information provided to us that it's taking place or that it's planned.
So do you still support the motion then?
I do, because I wanted to have the conversation.
Understood, but so the issue though is the notification of the board of whatever's happening, and I think we can get a better handle moving forward on updating the board as to ordinance enforcement and the process or things that are being dealt with. So would that suffice?
So I'm going to vote no on the motion. I just supported it so we could have the conversation.
Understood. Okay.
I'm rescinding my motion.
You're rescinding the motion? Well,
So if it had Horseshoe Lake specifically on it, then I would support it. If it's just in general, then I don't support it. If we have an understanding that the board will be made aware of any targeted code enforcement, then I don't think we need a motion at all for it.
yeah, I don't either. Do you rescind support then?
I rescind my
The
support.
motion's rescinded, so.
So I guess the communication with our building official, that any targeted code enforcement would be brought to the board before any action was taken.
It's just
that
being
communication, yeah.
being updated, yeah, better communication, I agree.
That's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Ms. King. Item 2, consider public safety buildings second floor lease agreement. In the packet, there is a copy of the existing contract, copy of the new contract, information that typically there's a 24-25 average rent increase in Michigan is at approximately 4.7%. In this contract, it is a 3-year contract, I believe is the difference, and is after a 3% increase per year as was done in the past one. So is there any questions, comments on this one? And I did run into LawNet, and they are interested in still continuing on, so. Chief, am I missing anything, Chief Smith? No?
So is this is still going to be just year to year? We're not looking to do,
Well, this one
oh,
is,
this is through, I'm sorry.
the new proposed,
All right,
this proposed contract is 3-year.
All right.
Is it? So I'll make a motion to approve the provided 3-year rental contract between Northfield Township and LawNet and authorize the township supervisor and the township clerk to sign said contract.
Support?
Supported by Only. Any questions, comments, more on that?
I would like to have the termination date included in the motion and the cost of the rent.
Have the termination date included in the contract?
No, in the motion. So May 31st of 2028, that would be the termination date.
Okay. I will amend my motion to include the end date of May 31st, 2028.
Correct.
Is there still support, Mr. Only, on the amendment?
Still support.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions?
You said you wanted the amount,
Rental amount, yeah, I was just looking for it, it was,
so the yearly rental amount is part of the motion as well, is what you requested?
Well, there would be 3 different amounts in that
Yep.
case. So it's specified in the contract.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
specified.
that would suffice.
Did you find it?
yeah, just say as specified in the contract.
All right. Yeah, as specified in the contract.
I'll repeat the motion. Motion to approve the provided 3-year rental contract between Northfield Township and LawNet and authorize the township supervisor and township clerk to sign said contract. So this contract is provided to that extent. Does that cover it? Everybody good with that? Okay. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 3, consider sales agreement for sale of township-owned parcel to Brendan McMahon, and I believe Alexandra Birmingham. So this was provided by our township attorney. They found that it was in two people's name, hence the second person. And everything seems to be in order as far as our township attorney. Does anyone have questions on this? This is just the ending. We had already approved this, but in reviewing the documents, we had to include the extra person. So I'll make a motion to approve the provided purchase agreement provided by the township attorney and authorize the township supervisor to sign said purchase agreement.
I'll support.
Support by Donner. Any questions, comments further? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Everyone vote aye on that? Aye. Oh, thank you. So 5-0. Next item, received determination from township attorney at the request of the planning commission regarding reservation of sewer taps. Ms. Chick, would you like to start this one?
Yeah, we've been having, excuse me, both at the Board of Trustees meetings and at the Planning Commission meeting, a discussion on whether or not the township has or should reserve REUs when an SAD is formulated. According to the attorney, none of our SADs have anything in their agreements that indicate that REUs were also purchased along with or available to anyone in an SAD that has property. So this kind of clarifies that. REUs, according to the attorney's information so far, is that it's basically first come, first served when development comes into the township. So she is just verifying that that is the township policy. So you know what?
And there's no obligations and no,
We don't own
No
any
laws.
REUs, right?
all right, there's
No
no
policy,
RUs owed.
there's no
Not to
ordinance.
Green Oak, not to anybody.
And just to add, the information provided in a packet was from the September 2013, I believe, board motions and on the SAD of this SAD district, Special Assessment District for
Yep.
the sewer extension. So in there, there's no mention of reservation of any, that was the point of including that.
Yep.
And there's also notes included from the meeting, notes of the minutes, reflecting the same, that there's really no reservation of those. But I'll make a motion so we can have further discussion if we need, but I'd like to make a motion, the township attorney codify there is no reserving of REUs in the sewer area. Codify meaning put it in the ordinance. Is there support? Support. Support by Mr. Moko. Any questions, comments on that?
So we would have the attorney actually draw up the ordinance, or would that be directed to, I guess it would be the attorney.
The attorney, you mean in collaboration with the planner, if need be? I'm sure
Okay.
that that would happen if need be.
Okay,
But in this way, it's in the ordinance, and there's no question about it further in the future.
right, we need that, exactly.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, the planning commission was looking for a firm answer to this question, and now we have it. So-
Right. Mr. Only.
So does that motion, does that address where it says the board is free to adopt a sewer connection and capacity plan? Or is that separate? The codifying is separate from On the second page from Fink and Fink.
Okay, let me get there.
Yep.
Board's free to adopt a sewer connection and capacity plan on current information, but is not required to concern itself with.
That's completely separate from codifying the SADs.
Correct.
And REUs, right?
Right. My motion is to just address the REU reservations.
All right.
There are none. Yeah. And actually, we do have a new business item, I think, that will address that particular question. Any further questions? Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, thank you. Okay, the next item is Resolution 25010, fiscal year 24-25, third quarter budget amendment. Would somebody like to start?
Yep, make a motion for the board to approve Northfield Township, Michigan Resolution Number 25-010 to amend the General Appropriations Act Resolution, July 24th through June 30th, 2025, and amend the fiscal year 2025 budget.
Is there supported by only? Any questions, comments on that motion? Seeing none, it's a resolution. We have to do a roll call vote, please, Ms. Chick.
Mr. Olney?
Yes.
Mr. Moko?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Ms. Chick is yes. Mr. Donner?
Yes.
Thank you. It passes.
Thank you. Next item is consider proposal from McKenna Associates authorizing a training seminar for Northfield Township boards and commissions. I received this. It was suggested by McKenna. It was the end of April. The email letter is included in the packet, tells of the topics of the seminar and what it would cost, being $1,500. The senior principal, Vidya Krishnan, who is our planning consultant, would conduct the seminar, and she's got over 20 years' experience. I know that in the past, there's been training sessions of some sort or another for all boards and commissions, and sometimes there hasn't been a great turnout. Again, we have a lot of new people on certain boards and commissions, this being one of them. I think it would be a good thing. Hopefully, we get enough of the of all the boards and commissions to show up for the special meeting whenever we may set it up. It's tentative right now, but I don't have a date. But yes, Ms. Chick?
Yep, I think it's a great idea for a couple of reasons. Number one, we've got new members on the board, Planning Commission and the ZBA, and everybody needs, if they, at least a refresher for those that have already been on the boards and commissions, but the new people do need the same information. I think having one meeting with everybody in attendance that you get, number one, we get to meet everybody and interact, and they can hear the questions that come up from each person at the same time, so that we all have the same information and are getting additional comments from the people that work in the township here to serve the people. So I would like one meeting and everybody, you can't make it mandatory, but it would be really helpful if everybody made an effort to be there.
And I'd like to add that this training seminar also invites others, interested parties, including, so not only just the township board, township staff, nonprofits, business owners, members of the public even, so.
Yeah, it's open to the public, correct?
Open to
Yeah.
everybody, yeah.
And recorded.
In the past, have these been less formal than seated
Yes.
up here, more like
Yep,
everyone at the table?
here, Yep.
Yeah, so training seminars I found also don't apply to the Open Meetings Act. I mean, we would televise it, obviously,
Yeah, yeah.
but it doesn't apply to the same,
Open to the public, but not
Right.
the same obligations, so, yeah.
right. So with that, I make the motion for the Board of Trustees to approve the proposed training seminar by McKenna dated April 23rd, 2025, and authorize the Township Supervisor and Township Clerk to sign the authorization to proceed.
I'll support.
Supported by Moco. Any questions, comments further on it? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Passes 5-0. Consider special events permit application for German Park annual picnics. Chief Smith, do you have, and I know you have the next item regarding this, but do you have anything to say about the special event permit application? Or Chief?
The permit itself is the same as what we've been using for years. Nothing's changed. It's been approved in the past by the boards prior to this one. We haven't had any issues, and then obviously goes in line with the next item on the agenda.
Right. Yeah, previously, it could be done administratively, but in that absence, that's why it's before us tonight. But Chief Bishop, do you have anything regarding the application itself?
No, I agree with Chief Smith. And
Okay.
we already have a few inspections and other things going on for that event.
Very good. Then I make a motion to approve the special event permit application for German Park annual picnics.
I'll support.
Supported by Donner. Any questions, comments further on that? Yes, Mr. Only.
Does German Park pay the township or pay the police staff for attending? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the next
I'm
item.
looking at just this one. All right.
Right.
They have the amount in there. Great. Sorry.
So any other questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Passes 5-0. The next item, authorize police contract for German Park picnics. Chief Smith.
This is an ongoing contract we've had with German Park for years. The township gets reimbursed for the officers that are there on overtime, and it includes the wages, benefits, and whatever equipment they're using. So the amount that is charged to German Park is based on what the hourly rate is and all that. So if you'll see the number that's in the contract also reflects the increase in the wages potentially for the new contract.
Very good. Anything else? Anyone? Make a motion to approve the German Park event security contract with Northfield Township Police Department and authorize the township supervisor to sign said contract.
Support.
Supported by Only. Any questions, comments further? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. Next, item 5, consider request to create an amendment to ordinance Chapter 32, Utilities, Article 3, Sewage Disposal, assigning responsibility for the cost of sewer system upgrades and/or infrastructure for new connections, I'm sorry. So with that, that was a request of Ms. Chick. Ms. Chick?
Yep, so we do not have an ordinance that covers this. There's been discussions about, again, at the Planning Commission and the board on how this should be handled. We did have a policy that governed one area, the low-density residential area, that basically said that no sewer could happen there, and the board voted to do it, and now the question has come up because there needs additional infrastructure is, okay, who's responsible for paying for that? Well, it's pretty clear in my mind, but we don't have it in our ordinance, and I think it needs to be specified in our ordinance so there is no question going forward who is responsible for that. So with that, I would like to make a motion to request the Board of Trustees to direct the Planning Commission to amend Chapter 32, Utilities, Article 3, Division 2, Sanitary Sewer, and any other applicable section in the Code of Ordinances to assign responsibility for the cost of sewer system upgrades and/or any additional infrastructure to the applicant requesting access to the system or language thereof that expresses the same edict.
I support. Any questions, comments on that? So I agreed with Ms. Chick in codifying that, makes it very clear as to the future connections and improvements of the existing sewer system. So does anyone else have any? Mr. Only?
Does this apply to the wastewater treatment plant infrastructure as well, or does this just apply to the infrastructure in the ground that gets the sewage to the plant?
It's any improvements to the sewer system, which would include the wastewater treatment plant.
So, all right, so right now, we're looking to, down the road, our wastewater treatment plant is gonna have to be expanded.
Eventually, yeah.
And so right now, we have several developers coming to us. We're going to, just put it bluntly, we're gonna put that burden on them right now.
No, because the plant doesn't need expanding right now. If a developer comes in, say any one of these people in the pipeline created a condition where the plant can no longer handle that amount of capacity, then they would have to pay for improvements to the wastewater treatment plant to allow for that capacity. So currently, we're not in that place yet.
All right, so all of these developments that are taking place, Chestnut, Robertson, the one next to the high school that's coming up, the Groves, they're all gonna get us right to that brink.
Just about.
And then no other developments are gonna be allowed to come in, and then we're not gonna be able to recoup any money to improve our wastewater treatment plant, because there's not gonna, right now is where the growth is coming, that I think should be paying for the long-term plan for the wastewater treatment plant. So when I said burden, like negatively, like, I think the burden should be put on them. I think the Groves, I think Chestnut, I think Robertson, I think all of them should be footing part of the bill right now for the long-term plan of the wastewater treatment plant.
I don't know we can legally do that because they're paying for something that they're not creating that situation. Currently, the capacity at the plant, they estimate, is about 1,500 REUs available. These four proposals will use about 1,135 of those 1,500. So we're not there yet. We're very close. But I don't think legally we can make them pay for future use.
So that would, I'll help with that one. That was posed to the township attorney and said that that was not possible to do.
I just think we're gonna get all the way up. If it's 1,500, we're gonna get to 1,450. And nothing else is gonna come up, and no one else is gonna come to the township, and we're still gonna need that $30 million wastewater treatment plant upgrade, and it's gonna just be put on all of the residents instead of the ones that got us to that point, which, if our legal team says we can't do it, then I'll take that.
Mr. Moko.
I think some people might look at it the other way, saying they don't want the whole township to be subdivisions, so once we reach our limit, I could care less if a developer comes in and there's no capacity, he can pay to expand the plant himself. So he has two ways to look at it.
It's true.
Yep.
So there's the motion on the floor. Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. I would also like to add a second motion to this topic, to motion to have authorize the township attorney to review Chapter 32 ordinance and Chapter 36 ordinance for continuity of language between them regarding this.
I'll support.
Supported by Ms. Chick. Any questions, comments on that? So in other words, to not only just make changes to Chapter 32, but make sure it goes with also the zoning ordinance, which is Chapter 36. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. Item 6, consider amendment to open burn ordinance. Chief Bishop.
I will, I'm going to start out by pointing out a typographical error that I want to make sure that everyone is aware of before we have any more discussion. On the second page of the document, down in section 7, and we're looking at 7.1, it says, except for campfires, a permit issued in accordance with section 11. That should actually be section 8. That's gone through about 6 set of eyes, and I found it this week when I was trying to cross-reference a few things, so.
Okay, I think that could be corrected prior to the going in as a new update, as an amendment. I don't think it's an issue at this point.
I just want to make,
But
I wanted to stop the discussion if that's a major issue that we need to go back and resubmit it to for the next board meeting, but that.
I don't think
That is
so.
a topographical error in what you are seeing currently, what was submitted to you.
Yep.
And so what I've given to you is, we worked on this about 7 to 8 months. The township attorneys, Jim Fink and Mariah, both have taken a look at this. We're trying to update the current 1974 ordinance, which has some loopholes in it. Obviously, some state laws, especially with Clean Air Act, have taken place in 94 and 2012. So we wanted to include those. What you're looking at was a suggestion by Michigan Township Associations. Our attorneys looked at it. We wrote, when I say we, the fire department wrote it, sent it to them for an evaluation that followed that guideline. And they came back with the final document that you have currently. And it is just to update a 50-year-old ordinance that had some loopholes, had some other issues in it, and didn't reference a few other, definitions that are needed for us to work through this document and do the jobs that we're being asked to do. So, are there any current questions? Because I know some board members have had this for hopefully about a month now. I'm willing to answer whatever you have for me.
I have a question on the enforcement and penalties, 11.2. Is that a change? Was it a municipal infraction prior, or is that new?
It is the same. The previous one, it was section 12-95 violation. Any person violating this article shall be responsible for a municipal civil infraction.
Thank you.
And that's in the old one.
Very good.
So I will say there is a couple things with it. Our population has reached a threshold where I needed to submit this to the state, or else there would be no burning of leaves or grass/brush. We're over the 7,500 population in the township now, so I needed this so I could submit that to the state. The one you're looking at is very similar to Hamburg Township. In fact, they took theirs directly from MTA, and they've had theirs in effect for a little over a decade now, so.
With that, I'll make a motion, the board approve the proposed amendment to the open burn ordinance 25-03, with the correction on page 2 of 7.1 from section 11 to section 8 of the ordinance.
I'll support.
Supported by Ms. Chick. Any questions, comments more on this item? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. I think I covered the correction that way, Chief, so.
You're good.
All right. Next item, item 7, consider approval of fire department purchase of a new brush truck. Chief Bishop.
So I kind of warned you that I was going to come to you. This is part of the CIP for fiscal year '26, which is what we're working budget-wise. But with some economic and political things going on, we're trying to secure that price. I've talked to another, I actually got a quote from another dealer. They quoted me about $6,000 more than the quote that's included in the packet. We would have to order the vehicle. There are windows that they will take orders, and that's what we're trying to fit into so that we can order what we want and not settle for something. So I'm asking for this up forward. I don't believe we're going to get this before July 1st, but I don't know that for sure. the build time, order time, and getting in the window for the government bid. We're dealing with some fluid things because with GM, it's possible I could call tomorrow and they've shut the window down. We don't know, and we're trying to get ahead of that, at least save ourselves about $6,000 on the back end for the total cost of the vehicle.
Yes, Mr. Moko.
What's it gonna cost to upfit it? You can use the same pump skid that's in the one now, right? So what do you just got decals and lights to do?
So, yeah, unfortunately, lights are expensive because those are electronics. So we're going to be right up against that. Graphics, we've talked to a couple of companies for graphics, so we're getting the best deal we can. And so it'll be right in the ballpark of the 60. It's hard to tell because, again, I need the vehicle here for them to order the lights and things for it. And I don't know, again, with things that are going on, I don't know exactly how much more that price could go up. But yes, for the skid unit was bought in '96. It's in good condition. It's a poly tank, so plastic tank that is reinforced. It's good for 50, 60 years. As long as you take care of it. The pump we rebuilt, we purchased a new one 3 years ago, put that in the truck. So we're just gonna take that skid unit, slide it over, but we will be looking for more economical LEDs versus the 1996 rotators and other things that are on that truck. Plus, we expect to expand its role in the department. So currently, the current brush truck just runs on brush, wildland, it does wires down, it does some other things for us. So I expect it will put more miles on it to make its responsibilities and its use a little more than what it has been in the past.
Thank you. Any other questions? Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion for the fire department to order the new brush truck in the amount of $49,487. The funds to come from the fire department fund 206.
Support.
Support by Only. Any further questions, comments on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. Next, item 8, discuss a building use policy and continuing or discontinuing to allow outside agencies to use the Northfield Township boardroom. So this has come about because we've had a previous policy where other groups outside of the townships, boards and commissions could use the room. The existing policies attached in the packet. Of concern, the first go-around with the audio-video equipment 3 to 4 years ago was approximately $60,000 or $65,000. We just reinvested another $38,000 into the current one. Probably works better, not me being the driver of it, but so I apologize for any of the glitches that we've had tonight. But right there, we're at $100,000. We spent thousands, I think, extra on the security of the 2 doors for the room, and really to have the equipment in here. This is my thought, no one else's, but it defeats the purpose of having the room locked. There's also issue of like what the times that people use the room, and there's no staff most of the time here to make sure everything's okay or make sure the building's getting locked and so forth. So my opinion, but I want to hear from my other trustees, is that I don't think it's a great idea at this point to continue this, or we could alter the policy. Now there's the, the community center. Really, what's a community center for? That's what its purpose is. And then I also had a chat back and forth with Chief Bishop regarding Fire Station 2. And that was used by a group when we had to displace them to do interviews, I think it was. But Chief, if you want to reiterate some of the points about that, I know that it's been used in the past for certain meetings or where we couldn't get a venue for a board or commission. But do you have any concerns if Station 2 were to be utilized other than ultimately you would have to end that use if you had other use for that portion of the building?
So I don't mind the building being used. I'm worried about it being used for things other than meetings. That would be one of my things. I don't really want to get into I don't want to get into hosting birthday parties and putting up bounce houses and things like that out at the station, because obviously it's a working fire station. We have people responding to it. Secondly is right now that building is taken care of completely out of the 206 fire fund. So I don't know if the board would be open to potentially a charge to help cover custodial costs, which are covered by the fire department, electric, power, same thing, gas, some of those things, but we're trying to outfit that building and do the right things for it. The other thing I will say is this would be potentially a temporary fix, because I need to reserve the right to say, we can't use that building anymore because maybe I need to outfit it if we grow to a point where I need staffing there. And that area would be perfect for us to build bedrooms and a couple offices and do the things that we need to grow out there should the township continue to grow.
Understood. Ms. Chick?
Yeah, I think that we've been pretty accommodating to date, but the building is pretty full now. I think we have a lot more security issues within the building to have the public coming in and out, and basically someone has to be here to let them in and out. They have to unlock the elevator, lock up the stairs, lock up these rooms, so someone would have to be there to open and close. And then, I don't know about the fire station, if someone has to be there to do the same, I would assume. But some of these meetings, like we're hosting, I don't want to say hosting, but if it's an HOA meeting, people bring food. So there's an issue of, cleaning up afterwards. We do have the option of the community center, and I agree that that is what a community center is for. And I believe I have heard Chief say that that building can be open and closed remotely? Yes. Okay, so that does not, so someone doesn't have to be there to do that.
Right.
So we just have to talk to Ms. Averill.
Right. So I don't, oh, yes, Mr. Only.
Yeah, I think that we should not allow this room to be used by anyone besides boards and commissions. I'm also not in support of using Fire Station 2 at this time. You mentioned the community center. We also have a public library. They have a beautiful outdoor pavilion as well. We just hosted our HOA meeting at the elementary school in the cafeteria. I just don't think there's a need when we have all the money into this room, and there's plenty of other places in the community. We don't have any obligation to provide a meeting space for private entities. So I think that we should no longer allow use of this or Fire Station 2.
Mr. Moko, did you have your hand?
Yeah. I will say this came up at the last board, and then we made a motion to build the wall, to close off the technology stuff over there. I think we set aside 15 grand or something for it. I'm not opposed to using this for community meetings, this room, but I am if we don't put a wall up. And at the end of the day, communities, I don't care, we should provide something though, I think.
Thank you. So Mr. Downer, anything? Yeah, so I have a motion, we'll see where it goes. A motion for the Board of Trustees to allow only township boards and commissions use of the boardroom, and have the township attorney review and amend the building use policy to include only the community center, main activity room, and I said Fire Station 2, that was prior to Chief's comments, but I'll keep it there for now. Fire Station 2, as well as any other updates to the policy.
I'll support.
Supported by Only. Any questions, comments on that motion? Yes, Mr. Only?
Yeah, my thoughts of not allowing it to be used is if we're gonna, I don't think it's justified to spend $15,000 to $25,000 just so we can accommodate some HOAs or some other outside entities when they can hold them at the community center and not spend $25,000.
Right. Ms. Chick?
There are other facilities, like our HOA rents the clubhouse at the Whitmore Links, so there's.
We go to the elementary school.
At the golf course, yeah. Yep, so, okay, any other comments?
The other reason for that wall was for closed session. We went into closed session. This isn't super silent in here. If you're talking about legal stuff, it was a dual purpose. And if it costs 25 grand to build a wall, I'll be first in line to build it. So,
Understood. So we have a motion. We'll do roll call vote, sounds like. Ms. Chick? Oh, excuse me, Chief Bishop.
I just want to make sure that it doesn't conclude me from holding fire department sponsored trainings and things of those natures from there. I just want to make sure, because we've got several entities in the township, or actually in the county, and a couple counties where we host, we have a drone class, we have some other things that are going on. I just want to make sure that's.
To answer that, that's my reason for having a township attorney review and amend the entire building use policy, and I think we could reflect that in there.
Okay, understood.
Yeah. Ms. Chick, roll call, please.
Could you restate the motion,
Yes,
please?
I'll restate the whole motion. Motion for the Board of Trustees to allow only township boards and commissions use of the boardroom, and have the township attorney review and amend the building use policy to include the community center main activity room and fire station 2, as well as any other updates to the policy.
Yes.
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 Passes 4-1. Chief, I'm sorry. Did I miss you earlier on conversation on this item?
I just want to point out that the police department does not have a training room, and periodically, if fire has a training going on, we do utilize this room for meetings with training and stuff for the police department, so I don't want to. Well, that's my point, is that we don't have a specific training room for the PD, so if fire department's training room is not available, this is really the only area where basically my entire department can get together.
Yeah, so I can amend the motion, or we already made the motion, so, I'm sorry?
I just don't want to have a problem later on with somebody saying, well, the PD's using the room.
Would it suffice if you see once the policy will have to come back to the board anyway, and I think we can work with that in the new policy, just like we're doing with the fire
I
department.
just wanted the board to be aware of the fact that the police department does utilize this room on occasions when we can't get in, if they have a training already scheduled.
Yeah.
And for instance, I'll just give you a for instance, one of our last first aid training units was up in this room because we didn't have an area to do it.
Yeah, so if I was to amend it, I could have added, not just township boards and commissions, but also police and fire department use.
I think it would include all, like, township staff. If Jennifer Carlisle's.
Township staff.
Yeah, hosting an event up here, or our manager, our new building official, like, I think township staff would be appropriate for.
Yeah, since we already voted on it, I don't know.
I think it would be part of the policy when it comes back.
So look at it when it comes back as a policy?
Yep.
Right, we can adjust it at that time, but I don't see it being an issue what you're both putting out there, so, thank you. The next thing is trustee liaison reports.
One more thing.
Correct, oh yes, sorry, item 9. Discuss continuation or discontinuation of the public's access channel through charter. Any comments on that?
Is there a cost associated with this for the township?
That I don't know, but I would assume.
Equipment. It says in there we have a piece of equipment we would have to replace in order to hook back up to it.
Yeah, and there's other issues with that equipment too. We'd have to, prior to the upgrade, our connection to the cable is not included with this upgrade, so apparently we're paying something.
Yeah.
The charter.
We haven't used it with this board.
To do so, we'd have to repair our equipment also, so I think that our new, well, how we're doing this one right now is on YouTube, right? So, I'm sorry?
They haven't been streamed over charter in at least a year, like.
On our meetings?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Jennifer's saying.
so-
They got with her because non-use of the channel, you lose the channel.
Yeah.
But I don't see it as an issue. I don't, with other means, I mean, things have progressed since whenever we got into the agreement with them, but.
So do we need a motion to discontinue use?
I got a motion written up if you want to hear it. I make a motion for the Board of Trustees to discontinue the cable franchise agreement with Charter for the Township Cable Channel.
Support?
Support by only. Any questions, comments on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All in favor?
Yep.
5-0. Thank you. So the next items are the trustee liaison reports. I'll start off. I didn't prepare anything. It's been a lot of things happened, and we had the extra week in between meetings, so a lot came down. But I'd like to welcome Mr. Malcolmson to the billing department. He started yesterday. As of today, Amanda McCormick resigned her position as administrative assistant, front desk position. Other than that, I don't have anything further, other than what we've just addressed tonight. There's no clerk report to receive. Receive planning commission report, Ms. Chick.
Planning Commission met on May 7th. We held a public hearing for a planned unit development of Woodfield Farms, the PUD, for the area north of 5 Mile and west of Whitmore Lake Road, just behind the Chestnut development. And let me get the motion, sorry. We set the, wait a minute. Okay, we seconded the request for Woodfield Farms and Villas by Chestnut Development for preliminary planned unit development. We will be recommending the preliminary approval to the Township Board of Trustees, subject to the conditions in McKenna's report and the other conditions from the other. So that passed. We also we approved an amendment to the ordinance requiring that the township planner, the township engineer, and the fire department are now required to be in the pre-concept and the pre-application meetings, and or anybody else that they determined should be there. We had to switch that back because it didn't work out well with just the township manager being there. So that will probably come before the board as well. And then I think that was it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Receive ZBA report, Mr. Only.
I gave it at the last meeting, not on the agenda, and then kind of gave a recap of it this evening. Absolute Storage was before the ZBA looking for a variance for their masonry. It had previously been tabled. At the last meeting, it was denied. So now they're going to the Planning Commission for relief. Our next meeting would be next week. It has been canceled.
Thank you. There's no Parks and Recs board report because of Ms. Otto's absence. Land Preservation Committee report, Mr. Donner.
The Land Preservation Committee, we have our first property that we're going to take the lead on. We got state funding for $100,000, and we're still looking for additional funds, whether that be through the Greenbelt or wherever, to minimize our cost. But it's our first property that we got the lead on since the millage was passed. So it's pretty exciting for anybody that's interested in land preservation.
Is that the church property?
No, this is the Great Lakes property. North Territorial and Sutton. I think it's just under 40 acres.
Okay, thank you. Announcements. Northfield Township offices will be closed Monday, May 26th for Memorial Day. Public hearing for adoption of fiscal year 25-26 budget will be held on June 10th, 2025. Northfield Township Police Department Charity Golf Outing, June 20th, 2025. Chief Smith, do you have anything more to add about that?
Spots are limited right now. I think we're down to 6 or 7. So it's filling up like it's supposed to, and if you're interested, you need to get signed up as soon as possible.
Thank you. County Cleanup Day is June 28th, 2025. Petitions and communications. Anyone in the audience that wishes to address the Board of Trustees may do so now for a period of 3 minutes. Anyone? Seeing none, board comments or clarifications. Mr. Only.
I'd just like to remind the public that we have a special meeting next week on the 20th with our potential township manager candidate from Texas.
Mr. Moko.
I've got nothing.
Ms. Chick.
Yeah, so with the resignation of Ms. McCormick, we're going to have to start another hunt for that position. It was such a long one last time.
Mr. Donner.
No comment.
Chief Smith.
I just want the board to realize that this is National Police Week from May 11th to May 17th. I want to thank all the police officers that work and live in our community for their unwavering support for this community. And I just want to say that I'm very proud of the guys that work for me right now.
Thank you. Chief Smith, Chief Bishop.
Our job posting to replace one of our full-time firefighters is we're starting to get those resumes in. The closing is Monday at 4:30. We didn't want to do a Friday because of the township offices being closed. So that should get us into our next step of the progress for that. The gentleman that's leaving is actually leaving for family members in another state, so we wish him the best in his future. So again, pay attention to Washtenaw County Road Commission. They've got several road closings going on in the township. The biggest one is Joy Road and US 23. They're going to have intermediate lane closures. So I know it's on our Facebook, but you can go to the Road Commission and take a look at that whenever you need to. And then secondly, we want to thank the 75 Barker Investment Group, Tim Seville, and our partners over at the wastewater treatment plant. They helped us move the flagpole and base back to help us kind of reclaim that. So it's back here, it's on the 8350 property, it's just out in front of the fire station. The guys painted it up and put new stuff on it, got it up. It settled a little bit sideways, but considering it was in the ground, the farthest back picture I've got is from 1977, with some comments being made that they got it sometime in the 60s and 70s, so we're glad to have that back here now. So, and I appreciate everybody's help with taking care of that project, kind of a big project for us. So,
Thank you. I have nothing. I make a motion to adjourn. Supported by Mr. Moko. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Have a good